Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Go ahead,
Yeah, for
Nick.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Hi.
Hey.
So let's just start with first introducing yourself and tell us your title and then when the Black Harvest Festival is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Nick Leffel, and I'm the Black Harvest Film Festival coordinator. And the festival is from the November 8th to the 21st.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, what is a film festival coordinator?
It's one of many things. A person who wears a lot of hats. So anything from making Excel sheets for the functioning of the festival to doing Q&As and interviews and trying to make sure that everyone's having a good time at the fest, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And do you watch the films while you're deciding on which ones are coming in?
On behalf of the programming team, yes. We work with a group of programmers and alongside another team to watch all of the films in the festival and all of the films submitted. So, I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of bias when we're watching films and stuff, and as festival programmers, we try our best to pick the best from the lot of all of the films that are submitted. But you can't do anything without putting, your best personal effort forward. So ultimately, I think a lot of the films have gotten more experimental as I and the programming team have been able to work over the past 3 years. A wider berth of different genres that we're able to specialize in for the festival. That's pretty crucial, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I would say like genre-wise, it's going more into the experimental documentary and experimental personal narrative route, just because of that. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So how do you see the role of the festival shaping the narrative around Black experiences and stories, specifically in Chicago or as a whole?
Yeah. God, these are good questions. I have to I have to sit and actually really think about it. Because for me, it's just a job. Like, not just a job, but like for me, it's my job. And so there's so many other things that I'm trying to figure out. And like right now I'm figuring out whether or not filmmakers are going to be able to stay in their hotels or not. So really, I don't have time to stop and think about these things like wholeheartedly. But I would say like from my like North African perspective, it's really, really cool to be able to be accepted by an African and Black community here in the United States and here, especially working with the film side of things. And I'm able to find my niche in that, right? So I would say that anything that I can do for that, it's pretty special to me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
No, definitely.
It's interesting. It's not exudingly rare to be able to have some festival that's specifically for a particular group here in the Midwest particularly. Chicago has a really grounded Black history. And so to be able to have filmmakers come in internationally and nationally to Chicago and have our audiences celebrate their work is really, really important because it fosters dialogue that young filmmakers, either film students or other festival goers who are maybe future filmmakers, that's extremely important for them to be able to foster a creative environment, especially when all of these voices are long overdue to be heard, I would say.
Definitely. For this year's festival, I know you've been like working on it and it is coming up really soon. What themes or trends have like emerged this year that maybe are different or like ones that you've seen a lot?
Yeah, the main festival curator, Jada Amina Harvey, has programmed this almost like 30th anniversary, but also like films about being 30 sort of thing. So she's been able to really hone in for that as a theme for the festival. I haven't really done much to partake for that, but definitely legacy because of 30 years of running the festival is a huge milestone for us. You don't have many festivals in the Midwest that aren't just a city-specific film festival that have been running that long. And so for us to be able to showcase things like that, we are able to have retrospectives and put forth kind of our best films from the past and a really high bar for the filmmakers of this year's festival as well. So yeah, I'm saying festival like so many times.
It's okay.
But it's necessary because
Yeah,
the work.
And on that note, do you want to talk about the history of Black Harvest? And like, I know I know a little bit about it, but for the people that don't, about the person that like ran it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I actually personally, this would be more of a better question for Jada Amina or Rebecca, to be honest, because I've only worked like, on it for 3 years, but I didn't know much about it before, and I didn't go to the festival before I worked for it or anything. Started in 1994, so 30 years, and it was run for a long time by a really good film critic named Sergio Mims, who unfortunately passed away in 2022. And he had been working and basically been the main person doing everything and pulling all the strings for a really, really long time. So for him to go and us not to be able to ask him everything about what he had done and how he had been able to take just a miasma of really talented Black and African film and put it into a festival year after year, that was extremely, it was a huge loss for us. So yeah, I mean, we had to step in right away and figure out and improvise a lot of shit, so.
Yeah, and how did that transition go? Because what did you do 1 year with him and then after that not, once he passed?
Yeah, in the prep for my job, so for the onboarding for it, I was able to get to know him and correspond with him. But then maybe 2 months into the position, it was, we were alone. So yeah, crazy. Programming a block of short films into a particular program in a night, that is a huge privilege because you're taking on a bunch of filmmakers' work and you're being able to put it alongside other people, and it changes the meaning of each particular work, but also creates a collective theme and endeavor for the night to kind of revolve around. So I would say that's like of an utmost importance in a film festival when you're putting on short films, to have them tastefully be next to each other. And I attribute that completely to the filmmakers, not really to, the programmers do a lot of hard work, but we wouldn't be able to do it without the filmmakers and their vision. I think, year after year, you see a lot of collective themes and things that kind of bond together. Human consciousness works in a way to create, like after the pandemic, you might have a lot of pandemic themed films or something. We're well past that, but even still in the public eye, you're able to find a lot of similarities and correlations between the two. So yeah, it's really interesting to see kind of what's on everyone's mind year after year. Black and Blur is our experimental program, and a lot of them also revolve around family and the blurred lines between them. Jada Amina really did a lot to kind of do these things, so she could probably speak better to those. Our From the Block program, it features all of our local filmmakers, and that's been the same name for the past 2 years. And that's been really successful. It's always fun to see local Chicago filmmakers collectively making short films about things that they experience here in the city. Then we have our Dirty 30s program, which coordinated by the great Jada Amina Harvey. They put together this program about films that are about the troubles of being in your 30s and stuff. So I look forward to being able to see that as well. And then, yeah, Black and Blur is our experimental program, and that's all really stellar filmmakers and stuff. It's really cool. Skill is a learned concept, but the heart of storytelling, that's you either have it or you don't. And so it's not about the type of equipment you used to shoot it or the timeline that you had to make it, or even if you had access to the footage before. Like, we have a lot of filmmakers who make stuff with things that are archival and stuff. So we really look for that patina to filmmaking rather than anything. If it's a good story that resonates with a lot of people and with us, and we know it's extremely important and it comes from the heart, then we want to put it onto our screens and we want to share it with our audiences. So, yeah. That's
great. And then this is more of a broad, not specifically Black Harvest, but what changes or evolution in Black cinema have you noticed over the years, or while you have been in the filmmaking world?
Oh, I would say in any in any community that you have a particular artistic movement, there is so much to be said about doing things in an avant-garde way, thus having your voice being heard by masses. You can't do the conventional function of, filmmaking and stuff like that. So you're out here, you're trying to make a name for yourself, or you're trying to make a statement, whether it be political or social, or even about, we have a lot of films about love and stuff, and they take a lot of really weird kind of third way routes to be able to explain some of the concepts that have been already told in cinema before. So I would say, yeah, using a large amount of creativity to experiment is a huge thing that a lot of artistic communities are doing, not just the Black or African community, but you see this in a lot of other types of film movements, especially right now. Using a lot of different mediums, weird digital stuff, I don't know. Yeah.
Do you think you see more of that now than even when you started filmmaking, how many ever years ago?
Yeah, I'm still kind of new to filmmaking and stuff, so I haven't been able to see it grow, but obviously taking film classes and stuff, I get to learn about how it's been like that pretty much since the 70s and even the 60s. So, every decade has a different twist on things. It's cool. Rashid Peters made a personal documentary that's called Some Sweet Day, and it's extremely beautiful. He's such an amazing filmmaker, and it's fantastic what he's been able to do. So you'll have to come see that in our Black and Blur program.
Oh, it's in Black and Blur?
Yeah, it's
That's
a short
cool.
film.
Yeah.
We have this other film called Albany Road. The filmmakers are also coming in, and you should be able to see it. That's a feature film as well. This film called Jimmy, it follows a young James Baldwin walking around Paris. It's shot on 16 in black and white on Tri-X film, and it's a really beautiful film that's very confident in the way it makes itself, and it's quite meta. And I won't share anything else because you should all come see it. With any community that comes out for a film festival or anything, it's so exciting to be able to see that community's reception to some of the things that they've just watched. It's a reflection of their own reality, whether it's fiction, no matter how quiet or how bold the film is. It's extremely moving and pertinent to be able to see just how everyone is so excited when they come out of the theater and are able to talk to the filmmakers and some of the other people, or possibly actors, producers, or something like that. You begin to see how special it is to them, how much it really means something to them. If they're able to go out of their day, attend the festival or attend a screening, and think about something else for a little while, collectively as a community, we're able to see that community grow closer in real time. So I'm really excited to be able to see that in everything, with the Chicago Palestine Film Festival, with the Festival of Films from Iran, and the Black Harvest Film Festival. It's been really, really cool to be able to see that completely for all of them. Yeah.
That's great. Do you work with the other two as well?
Yeah,
Or you
yeah.
just attend? Oh, wait. That's
Yeah, I
right.
help out with the other.
Oh,
the other
no way.
ones
Is it
and
also
stuff.
at Gene Siskel?
Yeah, they're all at Gene Siskel.
Wait,
yeah.
I didn't know that they were also there. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Black Harvest is really unique in that it's the Midwest's leading Black and African specific film festival. There's a lot of other arts organizations in the city that focus around really similar things. However, I would argue that Black Harvest does so much to be able to show the film side of things specifically. We have events that circle, around the films and their programming and bring community aspects together. However, this is, specifically film. I hope for the legacy of Black Harvest to foster new filmmakers into the Midwest and into specifically Chicago, I would say. Trying to think. The filmmakers of the future are kind of in their seats watching the films and stuff. So if it's a young person watching, I can be able to do this, and see how seemingly effortless a really talented person was able to do what they did. I just hope that inspires more to create a better grounding. When you're able to watch old, retrospective films, they had none of that. So we've been able to foster a community, and so I hope to be able to see it stronger.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to and the Black Harvest portion. Now let's get to you. There's so much. I'm so curious. Okay, so my first question is one that I was asked once, and I thought it was really interesting. What are your earliest creative memories?
Wow.
If you need to think about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be film related.
These are good questions.
Yeah.
Not that a good question needs like some time to be able to respond to it.
You need to really think.
Being able to come to the United States at a young age definitely changed my perspective on a lot of things. Culture shift makes you think of things in different ways, and therefore that's creative. So the miasma of things that I had to learn at a young age and the long haul of that definitely probably made me creative in having to, learn English and come over here, acquiesce a new family and stuff like that. Definitely made me think about things in a different, alternative way. I would say that's creative. So yeah, coming to the US, it was creative. I first came to Washington, D.C. Yeah, so a great introduction to the US.
What first inspired you into filmmaking specifically?
I don't think I had nothing else that I was really interested in. I don't know, nothing else that I thought that I was like good at or I wanted to do. I didn't want to work in an office job and end up, looking at a computer for a really long amount of time. That just sounds like hell to me, if not even worse. So filmmaking and being able to pursue that was something that I wanted to do. Yeah.
I know that you talked about your interest in specifically experimental films. Do you want to talk about what intrigues you in those?
Yeah. Being able to experiment and show something in a different way is the only way that I've been able to kind of, I guess, produce my own voice and stuff. I only learned how to do things not with the best equipment or not with, I don't know. Yeah, it's just how I do things. I don't know. It's a terrible answer.
No, I love it.
Yeah. Being able to experiment with film opened up so many more doors for me, especially given my situation, that I don't think are open for a lot of other people, especially from a similar socioeconomic background or anything like that. So definitely being able to get creative with the shittiest equipment that you have has been really, really fun in the long run. It was frustrating at first, but now it's kind of just grown to be a part of my voice.
Right.
Yeah.
What doors do you think filmmaking opened for you? Were those more emotionally or actual opportunities?
Being able to make money from it, I don't know. There's so many other people who do things for commercial work, which is really, really great. But I just don't think that I could do that at all, or do it and be happy with it. And so being able to make and work on behalf of other storytellers and other writers and stuff, being able to bring their film or their things to fruition is really, really interesting to me. And that's how I've been able to make a career out of it, and film festival stuff too.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Outside of film, what other art forms inspire your film work? Like music, literature, visual arts?
Yeah. Music especially, reading stuff. A lot of Chekhov short stories and stuff, how they package so much into only a couple pages is really, really cool. Illustrious language, the bacchanal of all of that. It's pretty cool. So yeah.
What music do you listen to?
A lot of just stupid electronic music and noise and stuff like that, harsh noise and unlistenable shit. Yeah.
That's fun. Are you working on anything currently?
Yeah, I'm working on a hybrid documentary narrative, a docu-narrative about, I'm trying to find my family. They live in the Middle East and I'm trying to look for them. And so I'm creating this weird documentary narrative. I have so much footage that it could be a feature, and it might be. However, if it's I'll see what it is. It's kind of a weird project that I've just been sitting on for a really long time. Yeah.
Did you find, like, are you done with the search, or
No,
I'm still
on it. Yeah, like
So-
just finding out shit and documenting it and stuff. Yeah, documenting it and then putting it into a story. So I'm working on it right now, but I have no idea when to like stop painting, you know, sort of thing. You could end it right at some point that seems like really, really cool and fun, but you find out something more and you're like, well, this has to go in it.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's cool. So how long have you been doing that for?
I've been doing it for more than a year, and it is so inconsolably tiring. It's absolutely exhausting, but I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, so you're just like pulling out a camera whenever, it's kind of just like here and there, whenever like you feel like you have information.
Yeah. I mean, for like documentary and stuff, you want to be able to have like really tough discussions. That's where the narrative comes in, and I set up with actors and a full team to be able to produce parts that are part narrative and be able to make some other characters' stories like really, really vastly interesting, which I'm giving away all of the film. You're not supposed to know that it's like part documentary or part fiction.
Oh.
But that particular aspect of, I don't know, putting uncomfortable situations in things where you really don't want them to be has been really, really interesting. So it's just like a passion project that I've had on the back burner for a really long time.
Yeah. Is that something that you've done before, a documentary? What does your past filmmaking work look like?
Yeah, I've done documentary and narrative, a lot of like artist documentary on following an artist or a particular musician, experimental documentary with family members and traveling to be able to do that, landscape films, stuff like that, and then conventional narrative, scripted narrative.
Yeah, that's cool. What's your favorite one that you've like been a part of or made? Like favorite film?
Been a part of or made?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like many of the films that I've been a part of, like on, like working on or anything. I would say my latest short film is titled Dekla, and it's kind of similar to the film that I'm working on right now, but it has to do with the Syrian civil war and trying to understand a little bit more about some of the refugee crises that I've been able to see. Like a lot of my family members are Syrian and Arab refugees, and I'm just trying to approach that with enough taste and responsibility, but also being able to dig deeper and find out some of the things, what's going on personally with all of that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. The way that you talk about filmmaking, like opening up doors for you, is kind of a different way, because I do feel like a lot of filmmakers growing up, they're like not that encouraged to go into this because of like the money aspect.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like growing up, were people, either your family or whoever, your friend, like were people encouraging of you going into this art form of a life?
Yeah, I think it's not a conventional career, especially where I come from. So I was really privileged in that I had a lot of people around me who inspired me to do so. Filming really stupid stuff on a camcorder has always been just an art form in itself, and I didn't know that that could be a career path. So opening doors into some place where I am able to insert levity into my work, definitely, I would say, or here, I'll try to rephrase that. A lot of this stuff that I've had to experience is so inconsolably exhausting that I'm able to insert levity, at least a little bit, or heck, even a lot of it. And if that comes off as outlandish, at least I'm getting somewhere. So being able to have fun with this stuff it's really key. I was born in Russia in the Sverdlovsk region, and then I lived in an orphanage there for a little while, and it was a predominantly Muslim orphanage with a large Muslim population there. And then I was adopted to the United States and lived in Washington, D.C. for a little while, and then moved to Madison, Wisconsin, and then went to the University of Wisconsin and was able to study film and linguistics, and being able to work and find film festival work as a means to be able to make money and really dive into that communal aspect of filmmaking, especially in the Midwest, not in like New York or Los Angeles. really interesting, cool, niche stuff. I mean, it's so rare that there's a production that has a community aspect to it. You see a lot of TV being shot here, but I'm not able to work at my strengths. But when I'm able to do Black Harvest, I'm able to use my skills in linguistics and in filmmaking and combine it together to be able to provide something towards a film community. So that's been really rewarding for me. And so that's how I was able to get into it. I was able to work at Gene Siskel and then work my way into affecting their programming. It's been cool.
Right. And then I asked you this the last time
Yeah.
I spoke to you, but what do you think from programming and like being part of the festival world, like how has that changed your own creativity and your own filmmaking?
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse. It's like an echo chamber of other people's creativity because you're able to see kind of what's in the public eye. But the opposition to that is you're watching so many of other people's work that you can't help but be affected by people that you're literally working with. Working alongside these filmmakers, you can't help but be influenced by them. So if you want to come up with something completely original, you have to almost dial it back. And so as like a filmmaker working in film festival programming, curation and stuff, the hardest thing has been separating myself from the work that I'm doing. Oh man, I just saw this really cool thing and I'm watching it on a screen and watching it with like 256 other films. It becomes really, it sticks with you. So that's good for festival programming, and you have to be very zen as a filmmaker to separate yourself from everything else that you're viewing and solely focus on what the story that you're making and going out there and doing your own thing.
Yeah. It's a great response. You didn't have that response last time I asked you that.
No.
And I love this.
It's because I was in front of a bunch of students.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Okay, and then I kind of wanted to end on just kind of fun questions.
Yeah.
So what's your least favorite movie and why?
Oh God. Trouble Every Day. I hate that film. I'm so sorry to Claire Denis. She's a great filmmaker, but I just hate that film.
What about it?
The main guy is just a conservative nutcase. The main actor, I hate him. He was also in Buffalo 66, and I just don't think we should give him a platform, but who am I to say?
Okay, yeah, true. And then what's your favorite film and why?
Trying to think. There's this film from Tunisia called Who Do I Belong To? And it's by, I don't want to fuck up the name, but I can't remember like the last name of who it's by, right. But this film, Who Do I Belong To? It's like a perfect film. I love it. 11 out of 10. It's amazing.
What's perfect about it?
It goes into family trauma and hardline, I don't know. It goes into hardlining local politics in a way that's so artistically beautiful with the Tunisian landscape, and that particular aspect is just so masterfully done. I don't even know how to. It's like a cocktail of all of the things that are affecting the place politically without saying anything. So it's really very subversive and covert type of storytelling. I like that a lot.
Right. Okay, love that. And then what's your favorite stupid movie? Like one you're gonna throw on. You have a lot of really deep ideas about these movies, but what's one like mine, Surf's Up?
Yeah, those are fantastic to have. It's like you want to say like Alvin and the Chipmunks or something, but that's like way stupid on comparison. The movie Puffy Chair. It's Puffy. Have you heard of it? It's like a mumblecore film. It's a really stupid but really cool, funny film about a bunch of people trying to get a puffy chair off of Craigslist. And it's really stupid. It's really funny. Really, yeah.
Wait, I love this. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And then to end everything, I know that we're like kind of doing this in promotion of Black Harvest. So if there's anything you feel like I didn't speak on that you kind of want to just like chat about, go ahead.
Come to Black Harvest. We need people. We need to fill them seats. That's all I can say. Yeah, come to Black Harvest and be able to meet filmmakers and see really good stuff on screen that you can't find anywhere else, and maybe might never be able to see not at the Gene Siskel Film Center. Yeah.
Love it. Cool. You're good.
Great. Do you want to do a walk off too? Yeah, for sure.